We're making the rules now, guys. It's 2025. It's about time we start making the rules. And I've decided to make a club. I'm going to call it the 3,000 pound club. Bang, bang, bang. I'm inviting Brian Shaw and Eddie Hall and Thor the Mountain Game of Thrones. I'm inviting Levon Saganashvili, Devin Laratt, and Sam Sulik, and Jesus Christ. And my club is called the 3,000 Pound Club. I don't know if these guys can lift 3,000 pounds. They probably all could if I could do it. Well, let's be honest, okay? If you want to lift 3,000 pounds in volume, you gotta lift 30 pounds 100 times, which I think most people could do that in some movement. Maybe it's the 2-arm bicep curl. Maybe it's, the deadlift. But I think most people could do 100 reps with 30 pounds. So pretty much everybody's invited to my club, guys. That's not what this is about. All right, that's a little nonsense. This is a leg day, and I want to talk about how you do actually have to make the rules. If you go back and you look at my first leg days, please don't do this. They're so bad. There's like no structure. It's squat every day at that point, and I'm pretty much just going for a daily max, and that's okay, but it doesn't really work that well when there's no structure to it. So if you're just going for one daily max every day, you're pretty much just spinning your wheels. I didn't really see anything from that. And the more that I did this, the more that I made videos and I just thought about it, the better I got. And the more structured it got. And this the thing is the structure, it didn't have to come. Like I could have just continued doing that exact same thing and being on, I don't know, day like 1,000 something of squat every day. I could have been there and just still doing a daily max and still spinning my wheels and having no structure. I'm just thankful that I'm not, I guess. Uh, you should figure out like what the rules are. You should make some rules for yourself, but you should figure out what the rules are first, because there's definitely some rules written on your heart that I can't tell you. That's for you to know and you to, work with. But you should also write some rules. Maybe like a goal. A goal is a good place to start, but also rules, like boundaries. Like this is also good to recognize, what are my boundaries? For example, diet. This is one big general way people talk about this, but diet is huge. You don't need to track all your calories and your macros and your micronutrients and your vitamins. You don't have to do all that. You could track your protein, which if I do anything, that's what it would be, is I make sure I get enough protein and that's it. I don't take supplements. I don't take anything else. I take food in my mouth and I eat it, and I drink water. Sometimes I'll have like a soda or juice, perhaps an energy drink, but really I don't drink much but water, maybe milk. And that's a diet, and I got some boundaries, and maybe you could learn something from that, maybe not. I also have a boundary when it comes to eating, and it's called intermittent fasting. So I only have a certain amount of hours in the day that I let myself eat. And if I have not eaten in those hours, I won't eat anything. And sometimes I'll even go the whole day without food, and I just call it a fast. And this is another way of creating boundaries. In fact, this kind of boundary helped a lot when it came to curing my eating disabilities. My, what would you call that? Instability, illness, mental illness, bulimia, and purging. I don't know what you'd call it. I guess that's what I'd call it. And that pretty much went away as soon as I started adding some structure into my diet. Not just what am I going to eat, but how am I going to eat? I'm not going to do it while watching something, which I'll be honest, I totally do that too. I'll totally whip the phone out as soon as I have a meal ready. It's much better to eat with someone. Like when I'm with my family, we'll have dinner together, and it's very nice. We don't do phones, but the other meals, I gotta say, I'm not super strict with, and that's something that I gotta work on. But at the very least, like, what time am I gonna eat? I don't eat before noon. And, I'm not so strict about the end time, but obviously, once I go to bed, I'm not eating anything. And until the next day, I'm not having anything until noon. Some days I won't eat anything at all. And that's made me a lot better at dealing with food. And actually, it's changed my body tremendously. Like, fasting has redistributed my body fat in such a nice way. Um, just doing it for a few years has completely changed the way I look and store water and fat. And I mean, lifting is a huge one in that it's good to have some rules, like how many reps, how many sets, how much frequency, how many times a week are we talking? How much weight are we talking? Is there a progressive overload? Are we just maintaining? What's the program? What's the program? That's really nice. When I was operating, and when I have at many times operated without a program, growth can be very stagnant. And if it isn't stagnant, it feels and looks stagnant, right? Which with things like skills, sometimes that just happens where you're working on a skill, you don't see any improvement. 1, 2, 3 months go by, no improvement really. And then bang, like, oh, I just can do this now. Like something just clicks, it works. I've noticed this as well. But with things like building strength, I have not been able to build strength like that. My strength comes and goes very quickly. I have to have a nice program to follow. I have to know what exercise I'm doing. It has to be balanced. I can't just be doing anterior movements. I have to do posterior as well. There has to be balance to the equation. And if there isn't, I just don't see benefits. And maybe there are benefits still. It's just they're so minuscule, they might not even be worth mentioning. They're not noticeable. So make up some rules. How often you squatting? I found that every day was actually really nice. It like gave me some it gave me some crazy cardio. All right. It gave me some really nice cardio doing squat every day, and especially doing high rep squats with my body weight. Was it the best for strength? No. Did I get stronger? Absolutely. Doing like a 5x5 program 3 days a week. Or let's say this, 3 sets of 10 squats 3 days a week. That also made me stronger, but I hit a plateau very quickly. What about 5 sets of 5, 2 days a week? They're heavier squats. I was getting way stronger, way quicker, and I was actually able to maintain this program for a lot longer. I didn't run to the wall so quickly, which I ran into a wall with 3 sets of 10, 3 days a week pretty fast. And it's tough. It's tough putting up those 3 sets of 10, 3 days a week. But 5 sets of 5 twice a week was much easier, and it made me quite a bit stronger. So, when I get back to squatting, I'll probably be doing something like this. And this video is 2 months late, but I really just wanted to make this to talk about how you gotta make up some of your own rules. You can't just copy what everyone else is doing. You gotta fill in the blank eventually. You gotta find out what works for you. And you won't know that right away, so you just have to try things. That's what's really nice, is you get to try things, use your brain, think through it. Don't just walk in blindly. Try to apply yourself and learn and, get a feel for what you're doing. And you'll get the hang of it. It's not that hard. You could do it. Bye.